place, oh yeah. Tryna be a better me just for you. But it ain't easy, it's hard to get used to. Minding my own business, I'm not worried about what he do. Cause nowadays all it is to be see-through. I always said this is that I'm staying around people. Finding my own path like I'm writing my own sequel. Two-faced people all around, they be evil. 2021, you can never trust nobody. Good and bad thoughts on my mind, they be crowded. Wishing to get past his limits, then he see he bought it. Family work hard, but I never catch them found it. Came a long way, in my dream now I be drowning. They dying, I hear got some hearts pounded. Multi talented, my passion I haven't found it. Yeah, in my home, I was never ever doubted. I'm here from a bad place, oh yeah. Tryna be a better me just for you. But it ain't easy, it's hard to get used to. Minding my own business, I'm not worried about what he do. Cause nowadays all the niggas let me see through. I always said this is that I'm staying around people. From a bad place, oh yeah. Tryna be a better me just for you. But it ain't easy, it's hard to get used to. Minding my own business, I'm not worried about what he do. Cause nowadays all the niggas let me see through. I always said this is that I'm staying around people. Finding my own path like I'm writing my own sequel. Two-faced people all around, they be evil. 2021, you can never trust nobody. Good and bad thoughts on my mind, they be crowded. Pushing to get past his limits, then he see he bought it. Family work hard, but I never catch them found it. Came a long way, in my dream now I be drowning. They dying, I hear got some hearts pounded. Multi talented, my passion I haven't found it. Yeah, in my home, I was never ever doubted. I'm here from a bad place, oh yeah. Tryna be a better me just for you. But it ain't easy, it's hard to get used to. Minding my own business, I'm not worried about what he do. Cause nowadays all the niggas let me see through. I always said this is that I'm staying around people.
Definitely not Garvan. However, I have done the due diligence. I have stepped in his absence to be of support and to help, with content being out there from the channel. So, I know that JFC Garvan hasn't had the chance to really do a stream or a video in quite some time. So I said, you know what, let's do something. It's been over a month, so let us actually do something. And there's so many things going on. Champions League, it's in its closing stages. We're winding down in the Champions League. We saw Liverpool becoming officially the Premier League champions of 2025, 2024, 2025 season. And obviously they haven't lifted the trophy yet, but they'll be getting a guard of honor from Chelsea. Obviously they have the other teams that they'll also have to play as the season will come to a conclusion. But yes, so much to discuss, and we will do so in due time. So let me just quickly get us started with the Premier League news. We'll touch on the Champions League fixture that is set to take place, and we'll also be mentioning a Champions League result from yesterday as it relates to a Premier League team. So we will do so. But let us start with the first item that I have here, and I hope you will be able to see what I'm sharing as well. But despite that, I'll be reading anyway, so bear with me. So this is from Mirror Football, and it states, Arsenal told Real Madrid their move for Martin Zubimendi is practically done. It has been claimed. If they miss out on the Spain international, Real Madrid could turn to Premier League stars Sandro Tonali or Alex McAllister. So those are options for Arsenal as it relates to transfer news. Martin Zubimendi makes the first news. Before I continue, let me go to the chat. I see 4 messages or 4 comments there, so let me quickly do that. So remove this and look at the comment section. So, all right. So, first thing we had here, this was a while back. This person had been waiting. It says, I believe, is this not supposed to be Natasha? Or this is Natasha. Natasha. Come on, phonics, man. Natasha Allen. I don't know if that's the name. If I butcher the name, please forgive me. But big up to you. You say ready. Yes, so this was from minutes before the stream was even supposed to start. So appreciate the support for GOC Garvan as well. Puggy says, big up. So big up to you, Puggy. He also says, tell us all about Arsenal versus PSG and Barca versus Inter preview. That is not the point of the stream. We'll discuss that. We'll mention the Arsenal PSG match that is all planned. Barcelona versus Inter Milan is the match that will take place in a couple of hours. So I will mention it slightly, but because it doesn't align with Premier League per se, it will not be setting the stage or setting the standard of the stream. So let me go down to see what else is being said here. Big up Chivish Moneymakers says, big up the legend. Yes, Arsenal lost. Yes, yes. Likes and subscribe. It's free and takes 100%. Do what Richmond Maker says here. It is free. So, and it takes just a couple of seconds. It shouldn't take you more than 5 seconds or 10, or I'll give you 10 seconds for the sake of that. So, if you're watching presently and you're not subscribed just yet, please do so. It will not take a lot from you. So, hit the like and subscribe. Big up Chivis Money Makers and thank you for stopping by on the GLC Garvin channel. So, Chelsea may need to win tonight against Manchester United. Oh, yes, and I'll be covering that on my channel, but let me not take away from the focus. But I think this is the last comment there. Let me go back to sharing the items that I have lined up for the show as we try to let this be a reasonable length in terms of how long it is, but also not extend too much to the point where we are just going on and on to no end. So, right, so this is the second item here. And it says the entire Premier League are keen on signing Tyler Devlin. Southampton rates him at 120 million euros. His nickname has become Tyler Dribbling. Okay, that's very funny. A very interesting play on words. So according to Transfer News Live, or at Deadline Day Live, who is using the source of telefootball, the entire Premier League are keen on signing Tyler Dribbling. Not sure how true that is, but according to this source and report, it states that Southampton rates him at 120 million euros, and he has garnered a lot of attention from Premier League teams as well. So let us go. All right, some people watching, please ensure that you're hitting that like button. Please drop a like on the stream. It will go a long way for the channel. Please don't hesitate to hit the like button. We're 7 people watching right now. We can get more likes. Just on 4 likes, just so 3 more persons need to just hit the like button, and we will be okay. So let me find the other item here as we try to progress here. So, all right, let me ensure that this video. All right, so this is the third item here. So it says Sky Sports News understands Jimmy Vardy does not want to play for a Championship club after leaving Leicester and believes he can still contribute to a Premier League team. So, according to Sky Sports News on X, they state that Jamie Vardy believes that he can still be of benefit to some team, or he can contribute to a Premier League team despite, Leicester City being relegated, and the plan is for him to leave Leicester City, which has been confirmed as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Before I continue, let me see what is being said here. Richmond Maker says, big up, bro, I need you to analyze on some players for me. Okay, that will not be in this stream. You then say, I will send players' names by it. Okay, fair enough. I understand. All right, cool. Big up to Rich Money Makers. So let's move on to the next item that I have in mind here. So, all right, I hope you guys are not in my background, but this is the next item here. So now this report is from Sky Sports Premier League, and it states that Nottingham Forest are interested in signing, or they're interested in Manchester City winger James McAtee. Sky Sports News has been told that the 22-year-old is of interest to Forest, even if they keep hold of Anthony Elanga and Callum Hudson-Odoi, who have been linked with a host of other top clubs. Now, there is no indication City will be prepared to sell McAtee, who is being monitored by a number of PL clubs, and only has 1 year remaining in his current contract at the Etihad. So this is James McAtee, the player that has been garnering a lot of attention from a lot of clubs in the Premier League. Chelsea Football Club is also another club that have been reported to have some interest in the player as well. So let me know what you guys think about this. If you're a Manchester City fan, how do you feel about James McAtee being sold? If he is indeed viewed as being surplus to requirements, will you be willing to see that happen? Would you be okay with that? For people watching, let me know what you guys' thoughts are. Do you think James McAtee should leave Manchester City and join Nottingham Forest, who are also preparing to potentially get Champions League football this season? So we'll see what happens there. But this is the report here from Sky Sports Premier League on X, and it has stated what you're seeing there. Nottingham Forest have a very genuine interest in Manchester City's winger, James McAtee. So let's move on to the next item as we try to progress through this so we can discuss the matches that have taken place yesterday and will be taking place today as well. So we will go on to this item here, and it is in relation to Manchester City. So according to Lyle Thomas, a Sky Sports representative, Manchester City are interested in Porto and Portugal goalkeeper Diogo Costa, when one of many clubs, including more in the Premier League. Manchester City are looking to strengthen number of positions, and interest doesn't necessarily hinge on Ederson's future. So Diogo Costa, I beg your pardon, is a player or goalkeeper, I should say, that has garnered some attention from many Premier League clubs. He has been linked with clubs in the past, and according to this report from Sky Sports Lyle, Manchester City have an interest in the goalkeeper. Will he be leaving Porto? He's been linked with a move for a few seasons now. Will that happen, or for some windows as well? So will that take place? Let me know what you guys think. I see 4 people are watching, so let me know what you guys are thinking. And if you don't leave a comment, at least drop a like. We're still at only 4 likes, and there's 4 people watching, and I'm sure that the other 4 persons that were watching before have already liked. So please drop a like. We can get this like up. We can get the like count up, and we can get this stream being pushed to more persons that may be interested in this topic that we are discussing. So the item here, Diego Costa, will he be leaving Porto? It remains to be seen what will happen there, but we will see what happens for sure, as there'll be more reports surely and updates and progression in this report as well. So that let's move on to the next item here. As I said, it'll be interesting to see what really happens with Diego Costa. He's been linked with moves for a few seasons now and windows, so we'll see what happens there for sure. So the next item here is in regards to Tottenham Hotspurs. So this states Tottenham midfielder Lucas Bergvall has signed a new contract with the Premier League side until 2031. So transfermarkets.co.uk have shared this news. This would have been yesterday, April 29, 2025. And according to Transfer Market, his market value is 25 million euros. And the contract, as you can see, will span until 2031, keeping him at the club for potentially 6 more years in regards to the contract. And he's 19 years old. So by that time, he will be approaching his prime years. So Tottenham Hotspur will be delighted to know that they have a young 19-year-old on the books and can have some certainty and assurance that they have him for some time. But it'll be interesting to see where his career will go in the future. So Tottenham midfielder Lucas Bergvall has signed a new contract with the Premier League side until 2031. That'll be good news for them for sure. So let me see what Rich Moneymakers is saying here. Yes, Spurs will not have any money if they don't get Europe next season, which looks very much Like they're not gonna get it. So because they are currently sitting in the bottom half of the table still. So yeah, it's not looking good for them. They are gonna suffer a very massive position ending at the or position standing, I should say, at the end of the season. They are literally 16. Obviously, they cannot get relegated. A lot of people would have wanted to see that happen. No, it is absolutely impossible mathematically and realistically. That is not going to happen. But they are going to have to rally with West Ham to see which one will be finished higher. Manchester United are 2 points ahead of them. Everton 1 point ahead of them, and also there is 1 point separating West Ham and Tottenham. So it's very close. It's a very close situation there at the bottom half of the table in terms of 17, 16, 15, 14. And even 13 with Wolves being on 41, Man United on 39. Wolves in 13, Man United in 14, Everton in 15. Tottenham in 16 and West Ham in 17. So it's a very close battle there to see who will finish ahead of who. And with 4 matches left in the season, that section of the table will also be interesting and it'll be what to keep an eye on for sure. So let us move on to the next item that I have lined up here. So West Ham are following the Chelsea Young project, and West Ham are selling their top players according to your source, which Moneymakers. Okay, thank you for that report. It's very interesting to see that that is the case, as not much success has been garnered presently from such a model that Chelsea or the project that Chelsea are trying to develop. So it's interesting if West Ham are actually following that model. So we will see what happens there. But very interesting, and thank you for sharing that as well. But let me move on to the next item that I have lined up here. So latest one, Tottenham midfielder Lucas Bergvall has signed a new contract with Tottenham until 2031. So this is a report, and it's in relation to Aston Villa. So let me share it. And this report says, and this is from Sky Sports News. This was from the 27th of April, 2025, and it says, Aston Villa have written to the Premier League to object a request from Tottenham Hotspur to move their fixture on Sunday, May 18th. Sky Sports News understands. So you can see in the picture here, it says Aston Villa writes appeal to object to Spurs fixture change request. Spurs could potentially play the Europa League final 3 days after their clash with Aston Villa on May 18 if they beat Bodo/Glimt. So we will see what happens there. His Moneymakers is saying that yes, West Ham have issues with PSR and they need to cut costs. Fair enough. Fair enough. That's good. But let me know what you guys think about this. See people watching. Let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think that Tottenham's request is a valid one? Do you think that them wanting their fixture against Aston Villa scheduled for May 18 to be moved for the sake of being able to have have a better chance of actually doing well? Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you believe that that is a reasonable thing or if you think that that should be the case. So let's see. And according to Rich Moneymakers as well, he's saying yes, Aston Villa might have to sell if they don't get Champions League. Well, yeah, that's another situation. But what do you think about this? Do you think that Aston Villa objection to the rescheduling or the move of the fixture is a valid one? Do you think that it's fair and both parties would be benefiting, or do you think that Aston Villa are just not willing to do so because it's going to affect them, or do you think Spurs are being illogical and trying to look for favor? Let me know what you think about that. But in the meantime, I'll move on to the next item here. So the next item that I have here is in regards to Liverpool and their plans for the transfer window. So this is from Transfer News Live at the Deadline Day Live, and the source is Mail Sport. So according to Mail Sport, Liverpool plan to make at least 3 big signings this summer to help defend the Premier League title that they've obviously most likely won now. So According to the list, the three potential big signings that they could make is Dean Hoyingson, Milos Kirkes, and Hugo Ekitike. Ekitike, I think that's how you pronounce it. So it could be the two defensive players that Bournemouth currently have on their books. Dean Hewson and Milos Kirkes could be the ones that are called upon. We'll see what happens there. It's interesting. We will see if Liverpool will be able to get that move done. And then obviously you have Hugo Ekitike, who's right here, the Frankfurt forward. Will they be able to get the job done? They could potentially lose some players. Luis Diaz was rumored with leaving Liverpool, so it'll be interesting to see if that ends up happening. But let's see what happens there. So, Rich Moneymakers is saying you get £15 million if you get Champions League football. So Chelsea will get more than that for the Club World Cup. And yes, Aston Villa are going to, or they're doing something to be stubborn. Okay, I understand. Thank you for your thoughts here. Thank you for sharing that as well. So yeah, Liverpool are reportedly interested in getting key players to as they try to ensure that they have a strong chance of defending their title or defending the Premier League title, as we know what happened in 2020 when they last won it. Obviously, the subsequent year they fell off and ended up seeing City retaining or regaining, I should say, the title. So we will see what happens there, but we'll see what happens. Okay, I'm not sure. Storyteller, I see your comment. I don't know if you mean me or you mean Garvan. Um, let confirm that and verify it, and I will return. Yeah, thank you for joining in, Storyteller. Please do drop a like, and if you're a new subscriber as well. So let's move on to the next item, but let me know if you guys thoughts. Do you think that these three options would actually help the chances of Liverpool to retain their title next season? Let me know what you think. I am eager to see what you have to say about that as well. So let's move on to the next item in the meantime, and it is in relation to Arsenal's narrow defeat to PSG on Tuesday night or on Tuesday afternoon for persons in different time zones. So, according to this, Arsenal suffered their first ever defeat to PSG. That's it. That says tonight, but it would have been yesterday on the 29th of April, having met 5 times prior. And you can see in this picture, April 29, 2025, 1-0 win to PSG. They did face off against them in the league phase of the new format of the Champions League in October of 2024, where Arsenal came out 2-0 victors. And then approximately 7 to almost 8 years before that, they battled out a 2-2 draw. And then earlier in that year, 2016, in September on the 13th, PSG and Arsenal battled out a 1-1 draw. And then obviously you'd have to go back to 22 years prior to see the latest or the earliest, I should say, result, with it being 1-0 to Arsenal. And then obviously the first fixture that is listed here, as in terms of year, in 1994, March 29, 1-1 draw. So as you can see, it is 4-1. No, or no, it's 4-6. It's it's okay. Let me actually do the maths and not give inaccuracy. So so there, in the total amount of times that PSG and Arsenal have faced off against each other, there has been a 1, 2, 3 amount of draws. There's been 2 wins for Arsenal and 1 win for PSG, and that was on Tuesday, April 29, 2025. So, will Arsenal be able to get the better of PSG at Parc des Princes in the second leg, which is scheduled to be next week? Or will PSG be able to get the job done and add to their lead on aggregate? It's a one goal deficit, so Arsenal can obviously come back and overturn the leg or and the fixture and or the battle, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. Surely Arsenal will not be going down without a fight. They did perform at a good level in terms of moving the ball well and all of that, but obviously PSG, they got a goal very early on, and through that alone, they were able to see out and to grind out that 1-0 win. It was close. Arsenal did, however, get a goal disallowed. One goal got disallowed for offside. It was from a set piece as well, which is what Arsenal have relied upon for most of the season, for seasons now. So that failed them. They hit the crossbar. They hit the post a few times. The same could be said for PSG. David Raya was also called into action to save. The same could be said for Donnarumma. So it was a very close match. It was entertaining. It wasn't without its fair share of intensity. So it will be interesting to see what happens in that second leg. But as it stands, PSG have the advantage, albeit with by only one goal. So let me know what you guys think about such a result. Uh all right, so storyteller, I see what you're saying here. Are you talking about me, as in the person that is hosting the show? Or are you talking about GFC Garvan? Garvan, the host, the owner of the channel. Confirm that, and then I'll get back to you. But Rich Moneymaker says, I'm so glad Arsenal lost because the fans, okay, me off, and especially Igal. I understand. And as a Chelsea fan, you don't want to see them win the Champions League. So I can understand that. But um yeah, let me know what you think about the match itself. Did you see the match or did you just see the result? Let me know what you guys think. For people that are watching, I it would be very good if you guys could share your thoughts, share your opinions with me, so that I can know what you think about the items here. But in the meantime, I will go on to the next item, which is in relation to the Arsenal versus PSG result. But let me just quickly go down here. And this was from the Premier League account on X. Says Arsenal lose 1-0 to PSG in their Champions League semi-final first leg. Ousmane Dembele scored the only goal. They'll meet again at the Parc des Princes next Wednesday for a place in the final. And then you see Leandro Trossard in the picture here, gasping and covering his mouth as he is overwhelmed, flabbergasted by the result that Arsenal would have obviously seen take place and sustain. So we will move on to the next item, but let me know what you guys thought about it. So I see which one the makers is saying PSG taught them football. Well, I mean, the way that they were moving, both teams were moving the ball well. I'll give them that, but it wasn't straightforward. It wasn't an easy match for either team. Arsenal did have some chances. They worked the ball well. They worked the ball into the box quite well. There was a penalty claim. I don't remember the PSG player's name presently, but I do remember that penalty shot, and it was ruled out quickly because it was deemed, and rightly so, that the PSG player got the ball and he did not make any contact with the Arsenal player in the box. So therefore, it could not have been a penalty because the player went down on his own and not due to there being an infringement or an encroachment from his opponent. So you say PSG taught them football. Fair enough. That's your opinion. I respect it, but I don't think it was as easy as many people made it out to be. It was very close, and the scoreline shows it. So obviously, let's move on to the next item here as we try to wind down and be able to discuss the Barcelona versus Inter Milan semi-finals Champions League fixture first leg that will be taking place in a few moments. So this is the one that many fans, especially Jamaican fans, because I know a lot of population, a lot of the Jamaican population and the demography. I cannot speak. The demography or the demographic statistic and analytics. My goodness, I cannot speak. Are Liverpool fans, Manchester City fans, Manchester United. Some percentage is Arsenal and obviously Chelsea fans among others. So Liverpool are champions. Premier League on X, the X account stated this on the 27th of April. Liverpool are champions. The last time that they had a guard of honor was, well, in 2020, I believe. Yes. That was the case. Um, and obviously it took place during COVID. So obviously the fans will be very happy because they did not even get to see their team lift the title in person due to the pandemic restrictions. So they'll be ecstatic, they'll be elated, they'll be very much happy that this is the situation. And after 5 years, they have regained, they have gotten themselves their 20th, if I'm not mistaken, Premier League title, their second in over 3 decades. So it is fantastic for them, and it's good. And I saw this tweet on X um, from some fans that were saying that you have to thank Liverpool because they're the only club that are preventing the Premier League from being the Farmers League, because City were obviously dominating it for seasons back to back, and Liverpool, funny enough, were the team that dethroned them in 2020, and obviously they were the ones that were contesting with them for seasons. Jurgen Klopp, obviously with Pep Guardiola, and Arne Slot has done well, in his first season. The question does remain: is it actually Arne Slot, or is it because of the team he's inherited from Klopp? That is the question that we will always be asking. Not to be bitter, not to be biased, but is it Arne Slot, or is it the team that he would have? Well, the word is evading me, and I just used it. He would have. Uh, okay, the word is slipping me now. But Arne Slot, is he benefiting from the team that he was left for the sake of a lack of a better term, or for better words? I'll just say that the word is in my head, but it's not coming to the front of my head for me to say it. But yeah, let me know. Do you think that is the case? Three people watching. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Arne Slot deserves all the plaudits for such a season for Liverpool, or do you think the word has finally returned? Or is it the team that he inherited from Jurgen Klopp that has helped him in this feat for Liverpool to become Premier League champions for 2025? So let me know you guys' thoughts. But in the meantime, I'll be moving on to the next item that I have lined up here. And this is a relatively long report and news, and it is in regards to Nottingham Forest. So Nottingham Forest have begun their preparations for a potential return to European football, with owner Evangelos Marinikis, probably butchered the name, taking a step back from his involvement in the club. So I'll be reading the full report. I can't share it for copyright reasons, but I'll be reading it for you guys. I'll be reading a summarized section. It's a very long report from the Athletic, so I will just bring up the summary and just give you an excerpt of what is there. So Nottingham Forest have begun their preparations for potential return to European football, with owner Evangelos Marquinhos taking a step back from his involvement in the club. The Greek shipping magnate has placed his shares in a Premier League club into a blind trust to ensure compliance with the multi-club ownership regulations of UEFA, which runs Europe's three continental club competitions. Marquinhos also controls Athens-based Olympiacos, who have had their own Champions League qualification confirmed with Forest hoping to secure their place in Europe's top competition by securing a top 5 league finish. The 57-year-old will now officially have no influence or control over the running of the club next season, with UEFA regulations stipulating that he must pause his involvement in one of the two clubs whose name would qualify for the same European competition. While Forest Championship qualification is not yet confirmed, UEFA rules dictate that these changes had to be done before the end of the month. Now, Forest co-owners Socrates Kominic, who was part of the Marquez takeover of the club in May 2017, has returned to the Forest board, which has been significantly restructured. Three independent trustees have been appointed in Matthew Shale, Tim Osborne, and Matthew Kane, who are all partners at international law firm Wigan Osborne Fullerlove, because UEFA rules stipulate that number of trustees has to outnumber the number of board members. Michael, Jonathan Owen, and Simon Forrester have all resigned from their positions. Chairman Nicholas Randall KC will remain in position. As the Athletic reported last month, it was expected that Marinakis would take a step back from his involvement with Forest because of his family's historical links with Olympiacos. His father, Matildis, was a senior figure at the club in the 1970s. Marinakis bought Forest in May 2017, having taken over at Olympiacos 7 years earlier. Now, during his presidency of Olympiacos, the team won the Super League Greece title for 7 consecutive seasons from 2010 to 2010-11 to 2016-17, as well as from 2020 to 2022. Olympiacos also won a National Cup on 4 occasions, and in May 2024, they won the Europa Conference League when they beat Fiorentina, the first time a Greek club have won a European title. So, due to this situation, Nottingham Forest owner Marikinos remains fully committed to the club and the development, but he will have to expand his shares, or he has had to neglect it for. That's probably not the right word to use. He's going to have to reduce his involvement in the club starting from next season if it's sustained with Nottingham Forest being in the Champions League or in Europe for a consistent basis. So that is the report in regards to this. So let's see what Rich Moneymakers has said here about this Liverpool situation. So he says Liverpool wasn't challenged. I blame all the big five. They didn't do enough. Fair enough. Deadline is the 30th of April, LOL. So that is funny. But fair enough. Let's see what happens here. So let's move on to the next item that I have lined up here. And it's in relation to Aston Villa's ownership and the president of business operations. So Aston Villa's president of business operation, Chris Heck, will leave the club at the end of the season. This is according to the Athletic Football. Heck, who joined in May 2023, has led Villa's off-field operations and has overseen record revenue, coinciding with Villa's qualification for the Champions League. Heck has come under intense scrutiny since joining Villa, owing to expensive ticketing pricing and other stadium issues, including selling season tickets to supporters that did not exist. That is very interesting. Let me see if I can find the full report here, because I'm very much fascinated by this report now. So let me see if I can find it. That's very interesting, and I have to see what's being said here for sure. Let me see if I can find it. That's very interesting. That's probably even worse than what Chelsea owners have done with selling to Vivid Seats, which is illegal by the Premier League. So let me see if I can find the report. But that is very interesting. All right, so I'm not able to find it, unfortunately. However, that is the report that has been seen here. Unfortunately, I cannot find the report. It looks like it has been removed or it is no longer accessible. But Chris Heck has had to leave the club at the end of the season as there has been questionable decisions made on his part. So we move on from that. But let me know your thoughts about such a matter. Do you think that it is good that he's leaving? Do you think it will affect Aston Villa, or do you think that it would be benefiting them more than anything? Let me know what you guys think. But let me move on to the next item that I have here, and it's in relation to Chelsea football. So this will be the final item from X, as we will find a way to discuss the situation in the Champions League semi-finals between Barcelona and Inter Milan. So this report is from Ben Jacobs, who is sharing an information that or a news that was shared from Chelsea officially, and it reads: Damac Properties will feature as Chelsea's front of shirt sponsor until the end of the season. Chelsea are engaged in a competitive process for a front of shirt sponsor for the 2025-26 season, including the Club World Cup. Damac have been at the forefront of the Middle East luxury real estate market since 2002, and Chelsea believe the partnership shows the global brand appeal. Damac will also have Chelsea FC branded residence as part of a £1 billion development. Chelsea's focus has been to identify the right brand to align with its long-term strategy and shared value. So Ben Jacobs has stated this, and as you guys can see, fellow Chelsea fan has said, "Better late than never." But I'd be surprised if the club tried to sell shirts with it on with a handful of games left. So we'll see if that happens. But Damac, a Middle East-based real estate marketing company, has been selected as the front of shirt sponsor until the end of the season, with collaboration also and partnership taking place as well, with a £1 billion development there as well. So we will see what happens there, but Chelsea fans will be happy to at least have a front of shirt sponsor being there at least for until the end of the season. So we'll see what happens there. But it is a positive news for some fans. Some fans will be unhappy because they'll say they went the entire season without one. So what's the sense of even having one now? But we'll see what happens there. So that is the items in relation to Chelsea news and also Premier League news. So let's see what Rich Moneymaker says here as I try to speak about the Barcelona versus Inter Milan Champions League fixture, and then we can round it up as well, where we have been going for approximately 42 minutes. So we will proceed from there. But let me see what Rich Moneymaker says here. So yes, our investors push for the sponsorship on the shirt, but Chelsea, okay, this is incomplete. Which money makers? I'll give you the chance to complete that sentence. But yeah, the investors push for a sponsor on the shirt, but as I said before, some fans will be disappointed that it took the entire season before they actually got a sponsor. So let me take a little short intermission. I'll be right back. Bear with me and let me just take a short intermission. I need to hydrate myself. I'll be right back. So be right back.
From my bad place, oh yeah. Tryna be a better me just for you. But it ain't easy, it's hard to get used to. Minding my own business, I'm not worried about what he do. Cause nowadays all it is to be see-through. I always said this is that I'm staying around people. Finding my own path like I'm writing my own sequel. Two-faced people all around, they be equal. 2021, you can never trust nobody. Good and bad thoughts on my mind, they be crowded. Pushing to get past his limits, then he see he bought it. Family work hard, but I never guess I'm found it. Came a long way in my dream, now I be drawn it. They dying out here, got some hearts pounded. Multi-talented, my passion, I haven't found it. Yeah, in my home, I was never ever doubted. I'm here from my bad place, oh yeah. Tryna be a better me just for you. But it ain't easy, it's hard to get used to. Minding my own business, I'm not worried about what he do. Cause nowadays all the niggas to be see-through. I always said this is that I'm staying around people. From my back.
Welcome back. Welcome back. So, Rich Moneymakers just said, yes, senior executives want one sporting director and the PSG one is being discussed. That's interesting. That's Luis Campos, I think. There were reports coming out that Luis Campos is not being considered. So we'll see what happens there. But the case. So I'm interested to see if that actually happens. happens. But thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. I can do. Let me know if you guys are still, if you're able to hear me, is most important thing. But yes, so Barcelona versus Inter Milan. Let me see if I can read the insights for this match, and we will go from there. So the insights is this. So pre-match, Barcelona and Inter Milan, or Internazionale, have faced each other on 16 previous occasions in Europe. With the Spanish side, let me just remove this item here. And all right, so you have, so it says the, all right, so with the Spanish side winning, okay, so both teams have faced each other on 16 previous occasions in Europe, with the Spanish side winning exactly half of those. So that takes the shape of 8 wins for Barcelona, 5 draws between both teams, and 3 losses for Barcelona. So 3 wins for Inter Milan. So they are winless in the most recent two, however, which came in the group stage of the 2022-23 UEFA Champions League, 0-1 away and 3-3 at home. So this will be just the second time Barcelona and Inter Milan have met in the knockout stages of the European Cup, or the UEFA Champions League, with both coming precisely at the semi-final stage. The previous one, played in 2009-10, saw Jose Mourinho Inter eliminate the reigning champions 3-2 on aggregate, 3-1 at the Giuseppe Meazza, and 1-0 at the Camp Nou, so at Barcelona's home stadium. So Barcelona are unbeaten in their 6 home games against Inter Milan in the UEFA Champions League, 1 draw and 5 wins. Those 5 home wins against them are their joint most against any opponent in UEFA Champions League, European Cup, also 5 versus AC Milan. While the only team they've hosted more often in the competition without losing is Chelsea, which is 7. So Barcelona haven't lost any of their 6 home matches in the UEFA Champions League this season. So that is 5 wins and 1 draw. Then you have, while scoring 21 goals in the process, only in the 1999 to 2000 edition have they ever netted more at home in a single European Cup / UEFA Champions League campaign, 29 in 8 games. So Barcelona are averaging 3.1 goals per game under Hansi Flick in the UEFA Champions League, the second most by a manager club duo with 10 plus games, after Hansi Flick's Bayern Munich, 3.2. Meanwhile, Inter Milan could equal the record for most clean sheets by an Italian team in a Champions League campaign, currently on 8, held by AC Milan in 2004-05 and Juventus in 2016-17. So both 9 there. So it will be interesting to see what happens in this fixture. It will be exciting. It will be drama filled. Both teams will be fancying their chances of getting a win today. So we'll see what happens, but it will be interesting for sure. So in Inter Milan versus Barcelona, or Barcelona versus Inter Milan, will be interesting for sure. So I believe, and I'm going to be honest, I do believe that Barcelona will win this match. I think they'll win. They will win the 2 legs, and I expect them to go to the Champions League finals. Who will they face? Will it be PSG or will it be Arsenal? That remains to be seen. But I do expect and believe that Barcelona will be getting to the Champions League finals, but their opponent will be the interesting conversation to be had. So Barcelona versus Inter Milan. Will that be? Will it be a case where this leg will determine what happens in the second leg? Doesn't tend to happen a lot, but any team that gets the advantage in this first leg will have the confidence going to the second leg. That is a given for sure. So let me know what you guys think. But let me see what Rich Moneymakers has had to say here. So The sporting directors are on their final chance. That's interesting. I guess you're talking about Chelsea. But let me know what you think. For 5 people watching, let me know what you think, guys. And then you see, and then Luis Makers also says, I think Barca are very good in breaking a low block in the world. So, well, that's a good argument to raise. And Hansi Flick has done a lot of positive with a young team. He has obviously done so. He's already been successful, I should say, winning the Copa del Rey against Real Madrid in the past weekend. So he's aiming for the treble. He's expected to win the La Liga. So they try to do the treble. They could do the double if they don't win the Champions League. But I expect them to win the Champions League. But as I said, it'll be interesting to see who they will face off against in the finals, I should say, of the Champions League. So that is my thoughts, and I believe we can round it up here. We've discussed the Barcelona versus Inter Milan match. I expect it. I can give a score prediction. My score prediction will be Barcelona 2, Inter Milan 0. That's my prediction. I think Barcelona will win 2-0. Inter Milan will have some chances. I just don't think they'll convert. But we'll see what happens. Lamine Yamal is being shown in this picture alongside Lautaro Martinez for Inter Milan. So we'll see what happens. But Hansi Flick has never lost a final, as you've said here. So we'll see what happens here as well. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Thank you, Rich Money Makers, for stopping by. Poggy, who was also here. We have Storytellers, who was also here. We had Natasha Allen, who was also here, the first person to comment. So thank you guys for watching, and do subscribe to the GFC Garvin channel if you want to see more content of football. He will be returning. He promises, GFC Garvin promises to return very soon. So keep your eyes peeled for his return. But in the meantime, please ensure that you do drop a like on the stream. Do subscribe to the GFC Garvin channel. Rich Money Makers is saying excellent show. Keep up the great work. I appreciate it. And as I said before, subscribe to the channel and help Garvin get to 3,000 subscribers. He deserves to be at more than 3,000 subscribers, but due to time restraints, due to a busy schedule, he hasn't been able to make the content that he wants to make. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. And not to do any plugging of my own, but I'll be doing a watch along for the Chelsea FC women versus the Manchester United women in the WSL. If you have an interest in that, you can always join me over there on the Chelsea Sessions channel. That is Chelsea Sessions channel on YouTube. I'll be doing a watch along for that match in a couple of hours. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But in the meantime, do subscribe, like the stream, and for person that be watching this after, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys. Peace and cheers.
From my bad place, oh yeah. Tryna be a better me just for you. But it ain't easy, it's hard to get used to. Minding my own business, I'm not worried about what he do. Cause nowadays, all it is let me see through. I always said this is that I'm staying around people. Finding my own path like I'm writing my own sequel. Two-faced people all around, they be equal. 2021, you can never trust nobody. Good and bad thoughts on my mind, they be crowded. Pushing to get past his limits, then he see he bought it. Family work hard, but I never guess I'm found it. Came a long way, in my dream now I be drawn it. Stay dying, I got some hearts pounded. Multi-talented, my passion I haven't found it. Yeah, in my home, I was never ever doubted. I'm here from my bad place, oh yeah. Tryna be a better me just for you. But it ain't easy, it's hard to get used to. Minding my own business, I'm not worried about what he do. Cause nowadays, all in the let me see through. I always said this is that I'm staying around people. From my bad place, oh yeah. Tryna be a better me just for you. But it ain't easy, it's hard to get used to. Minding my own business.